Welcome back, everyone. And today I would like to welcome our next speaker. Our speaker is Chazz Lewis. He is a mentor, a coach, and a teacher, and affectionately known on TikTok as Mr. Chazz. Welcome, Chazz. Chazz, can I take just a minute and have you explain to us why it is that you're so passionate about parents and kids' feelings?
Um, I'll give you the short version because I feel like the long version is a whole mini Netflix series. But I started off as a Montessori teacher, and I, I started off. I didn't really know what I was doing. I needed kind of a job at the time. They, I had done kind of the 3 day training, which really only a third of it actually had anything to do with children. Like most of it was just like HR stuff. And they got to watch like a video from like 1950 something, and it was a VCR, um, and about play or something. And then kind of got thrown into a room with 30 children, 3 to 5 years old. And there were two other teachers there, but 30 children is a lot. And there are a lot of emotions. Anyone I think who has even more than he has one child, they know that young children come with a lot of emotions. So 30, just the dynamics, it was a lot. I felt really good about my ability to connect with children. I feel like that was something I was a natural at. But when conflict would arise and these big emotions would happen, I wouldn't know what to do. And I really struggled with that because I understood the gravity of what I was doing, of helping to grow the next generation of humans. But I didn't know if I was being very helpful in that. I would go in these situations where children were arguing and I try to help, and they'd end up, maybe it'd get physical, and I didn't know what to do. Um, and that was extremely hard for me. Over time, I had leaders who really believed in me and sent me to trainings constantly, and I found mentors and did my own learning and research and just deep reflection every single day, which was really so important. And even reflecting with other people about different situations. Over time, I had kind of started to get a better understanding and had kind of honed my skills a lot more than that first day in the Montessori classroom with 30 children. And I became the, lead teacher still in Montessori, and kind of started to build a little bit of a reputation of just like, if there's a child who's having a hard time in so and so's class, let's just put him in Mr. Chazz's classroom because he's gonna know what to do. Like he's gonna, and I quite honestly didn't always know what to do, and it was hard. Each child taught me something new. It helped me learn and grow, and helped me kind of rise to the occasion. Um, and so I'm really thankful for each and every one of those kids. And I remember each and every one of their names because you end up saying their name a lot, but you also end up connecting a lot with these children and building these really strong bonds. Um, but anyways, back to the story. Teachers started to ask me questions about, like, hey, like, I'm having a hard time. What do I do here? Like, what do I do? Like, I'm having a hard time. It's nap time. I don't know what to do. And so I was kind of just very casually offering advice, to my fellow teacher in the break room, and like, this is what I would do. Because at this point, my thought process of like, oh, there's a challenge. Okay, what's a way to see it? How do I problem solve? Like at this point, my muscle had been to do that, had been pretty honed and pretty skilled at doing that because it's something I was constantly doing for my own classroom. So I offer this advice, and she comes back the next day and she was like, "Oh my goodness, that literally what you said, like I did it and it changed the entire afternoon, my day, the child's day, like that was a game changer. Now I need more. And that's when a light bulb went off for me. I'm like, wow, like it's powerful that I was able to make that kind of impact with this one teacher and this child in the classroom I'm not even in, just kind of casually offering advice. You know, if I could train or coach and help teachers, and like if that was like my focus, I can make an exponential impact and impact more than just 20 or 30 children in the classroom. I can impact thousands of children. So I became an educational specialist where I was doing that, where that was really my job, and really kind of became the reality of kind of when you have a job like that. Whenever there is a challenge, whenever there's something that like we can't fix or solve, like you're the person that they call in. I kind of used to joke and still joke that like I was like the Olivia Pope of classrooms. If anyone has ever watched Scandal, you know, something would happen. We have a problem here. They would call me and I would kind of come in, you know, assess the situation and try to, you know, help the teacher, the child, the director, whoever, be more successful, kind of moving forward.
That's awesome.
And so this was my job for a long time. But then the pandemic happened and children went home, teachers went home. My, you know, drive and just intrinsic need to make a positive impact on people in the world to contribute was still there. And I started to have conversations with parents and also started to see through social media how parents were really struggling becoming the 24/7 everything for children. Um, and I thought I had a lot of insight and had a lot that I could, just in my journey, that I've learned that I could share. And that's kind of where I started to make the kind of the started on TikTok to make the short videos. And my thought process was I can make these short videos that are enjoyable to consume, but you feel like you've gotten something at the end of it. Your perspective has expanded. You have a new tool, something like I could probably make a pretty positive, pretty good impact on a decent amount of people. And that just started to blow up and grow and through TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and it, you know, it turned into it became a podcast because I wanted to do more than just the 1 minute TikToks. I wanted to dive into new ones and bring on other kind of professionals in the field to introduce parents to other professionals and the resources that I really admired and thought they had like a really great message to share. And it's just really grown. I'm doing coaching now and speaking engagements, starting to do a bit of more traveling in person. So yeah, that's kind of where how I kind of got here in the emotions piece. You know, that was always a huge piece of the puzzle because like I said in the beginning, it was the what was where I struggled initially was the emotions of the children and my own emotions in the moment.
Mm.
That and that's something I had to get so much better at responding to, responding with, um, kind of over as through my growth journey. Um, and so it's been something, and it's been the parents are realizing as I'm talking about it more, like parents are realizing everyone I think is more kind of more and more realizing how big of a piece of the puzzle that is, because that those concerning behaviors are likely being driven by some emotion. Your reaction is likely being driven by some emotion, and that can push us and trigger us to do things that aren't necessarily helpful and potentially harmful. Um, and so, but when we're able to kind of become aware of those emotions within ourselves, and we're able to, and we have all the skills and the tools, we're able to access those tools and skills more effectively when we're more aware of our emotions. And when you think about it, like that skill that we need to use and pull out of our tool belt, out of our backpack, are the same skills that children are learning that are likely triggering us, right? Because we want them to respond to whatever is that is triggering to them in a better way. We're trying to teach that we don't know how to respond in a better way. Um,
Right. So, Chaz, would you say parents' number one mistake is reacting to their overly emotional kids? Maybe we need to just slow down a little bit and think before we actually react?
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd put that up there. um, Automatically reacting. I think different people are at different places in their journey, and so some people it's the automatic reaction. Um, I mean that is a huge part of it. Um, and I also look at it as kind of like a first step of just becoming aware of your feelings and what's being triggered in within you, and then being aware of it is only a part of it, because and then it's the skill of regulating, the skill of actually being able to regulate yourself and your body and being able to breathe and do mantras and really feel safe for yourself in that moment so you can really genuinely be present and show up in a helpful way, um, to the child. I think there's a lot of common mistakes. I think another common mistake is that we want to fix we want the emotion to just go away, and we just want to get rid of it. And and we send a message a lot of times that emotions aren't okay to have, and that your emotions not okay to have, and it's not okay for you to have that emotion. That's not a healthy message to send. Um, we're going to have our emotions even for the adult. Like, you're going to have your emotions, and the goal of it is not to never be triggered and not to have the emotion. The goal is to learn how to navigate through that emotion, to be aware of that emotion, and to navigate through that emotion when you're feeling it. I think there's a lot of common mistakes.
So, Chaz, when parents kind of want their kids' emotions to just go away, is it also kind of like we're telling them they just can't experience those emotions?
A lot of the times, like, we're reacting with our emotion, and even a lot of times when we process with children, it's helpful for us too, because allows us to kind of process and slow down and pause a little bit in the moment, and be a little bit less reactive, and know when once we get to problem solving, know what problem we're actually solving, because sometimes we're wrong about what the problem actually is. So yeah, for sure. That processing piece is really important. Um, we're really quick to try to just fix it or dismiss it. The other thing's kind of like the calm down thing, right? Like, no one, never in the history of calm downness has calmed down been an effective way to help someone actually calm down. And so when a lot of times we are just kind of saying to them, like, just calm down, just stop having the emotion. And that doesn't help the child really feel seen and understood. And when we're in these emotional moments, adults included, we want to feel seen and understood. Think about the hard day that you had at work, right? And like, you'll never believe what this person said to me, what my boss or this customer or my coworker said to me, right? Like, we want to get it out. We want to vent. We want to process. That person who you're talking on the phone with is just like, well, why don't you just quit? Like, I told you, like, you shouldn't be at that job anyway. Like, and just try to go to problem solving, and just like, instead of being with it in it with you, like, yeah, like, that sounds really like frustrating, like, I can understand why you feel that way, like, yeah, and then just being in it, like, and helping you process, that problem solving friend likely isn't going to help you and isn't going to be really helpful in that situation, as opposed to the person who's like, yeah, I get it, yeah, that's hard, and problem solving comes at the end.
Oh, I totally agree. I think anytime and any age, if a person can't express their emotions, then that person ends up feeling really frustrated if somebody's trying to fix it for them. And honestly, I wouldn't listen to a fix if I couldn't get my emotions out, right? So I will say, however, we are out of time. So, Chaz, thank you so much for your energy and your thoughts. And I know that we're going to talk to you very, very soon. Bye bye.